Hello, financial freedom fighters. John Thorman here, and I'm excited to talk to you today about an alternative to an HSA, your health savings account. This is a unique alternative that you probably have not heard anything about, so I'm excited to introduce that to you. And then I want to go over 5 frightful facts about medical debt and why I think it's so important that you have a separate and specific emergency fund for your healthcare expenses, okay? Your out-of-pocket healthcare expenses. Now, this alternative, this HSA alternative I'm going to introduce you to, has 2 major advantages, and they're the reasons why I own one myself and why I think you should really consider it too, okay? So the first, number 1 major advantage of this HSA alternative is that everybody qualifies. That's right. Everybody qualifies. So I know, if you have an HSA or you're looking into it, you have to qualify. You have to be part of a high deductible health insurance plan, first of all, in order to qualify for an HSA. Well, with this alternative, you don't need health insurance at all. That's right. You can have no health insurance and still set up the special healthcare emergency fund and accumulate money to pay for your out-of-pocket medical expenses. So that is a huge advantage for everybody, millions of Americans that do not have health insurance. But if you do have health insurance and you do qualify for an HSA, you can still supplement and add this on top of it. It's not going to interfere with your existing HSA at all. This can be a separate savings account. And for those of you that really like to keep the IRS as far away from your money as possible, you'll love this option because this HSA alternative, the IRS is not involved with it. There's not those sticky rules and limits and penalties and fees and stuff associated with the traditional HSA. So you're really going to like this alternative. But the number 2 major advantage that this HSA alternative has is that it allows you to save way more money in way less time with a little bit of money. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm just going to give you an example. I'm going to bring out the readers here, okay? With this alternative plan, you can turn a small monthly contribution into a huge balance in just 35 months. So the example, and actually the plan that I have, for just $251 a month, for 35 months, that turns into $20,000 available to pay for your out-of-pocket medical expenses. So I'm not aware of anything on the market that even comes close to this kind of benefit. And really, for most people, that's what they need, is a way to accumulate a large sum of money in a short period of time with as little out-of-pocket expense as possible. And the alternative I'm going to show you today does just that, okay? Next, I talked in a video the other week about the importance of having an emergency fund and how important it is to quickly save more money and save as much as possible. Well, with nearly 70% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck and not having even $1,000 saved up in an emergency fund, that's precarious, right, for a lot of people, and a medical expense can put them over the brink. So it's really important now more than ever to have a specific healthcare emergency fund, okay? And I want to talk a little bit about it. But first, I want to address, there's a lot of people promoting the HSA for its tax, deductions and long-term benefits, and talking about putting that money into long-term investment vehicles like mutual funds and stocks. For the majority of people, I do not think that that is a good idea. It's really not what it's designed for, and I think there's better options. If you're looking to accumulate tax-free wealth, there's way better options for the majority of people. And the majority of people have got a serious issue when it comes to emergency funds and funding their healthcare expenses. So I want to focus on that. If we view the HSA or this alternative truly as a healthcare emergency fund, then that's how we need to save the money, right? And I don't think there's any financial advisor that recommends putting emergency fund, short-term money that you're going to need into a long-term investment strategy. So I don't want you to do that either. We need to keep this as emergency fund money and keep it in a short-term savings vehicle that's going to be safe and not suffer any volatility in the market, and especially not be at risk of losing half its value in the next stock market crash. That's not the idea of a emergency fund. So I don't recommend we use an HSA or this alternative for that. We got to keep it focused on short-term because you're going to be spending the money. All right, legitimately, healthcare expenses are going to come up. You're going to be spending the money. I've read you can expect a significant healthcare expenditure every 5 to 7 years on average. So that money is going to get spent. You're going to need to replenish it. It's money in and money out. It's not, in my mind, it's not really the place for using a long-term investment vehicle like a mutual fund or a stock. So let's keep that separate and treat this for what it really is, which is healthcare emergency fund. Now, let's look at, I've got 5 frightful facts, okay, about medical debt specifically. And this is why I think it's so important that we have a specific healthcare emergency fund. Number 1, healthcare costs are the number 1 cause of bankruptcy in American families. That's pretty grim. That's pretty bleak. But that's number 1. Healthcare costs, the number 1 cause of bankruptcy for America's families. Number 2, out-of-pocket medical costs averaged just shy of $18,000 for medically bankrupt families. That's a lot of money. $18,000 of out-of-pocket costs was the average for medically bankrupt families. Number 3, Americans now spend over $365 billion, that was with a B, $365 billion a year in out-of-pocket medical expenses. Guys, that's over $1,000 a year for every man, woman, and child in this country is being spent in out-of-pocket medical expenses. That's humongous. Next up, number 4. A 2019 Gallup poll revealed that 33% of Americans, so 1 in 3 Americans, are delaying their medical treatment because they can't afford the high out-of-pocket expenses. Yeah. So the fear of medical debt the fear of medical debt has got serious consequences for Americans' health. A third of people, 33%, are putting off their medical treatment because they can't afford the high out-of-pocket medical expenses. That is tragic. Number 5, the average health insurance deductible in the United States right now is just over $4,500. Can you imagine? So if the average family is expected to come up with $5,000 out of their pocket before insurance pays anything, where on earth is that money coming from? It's like not having health insurance at all, right? And paying a huge monthly premium for it. It's crazy. What else does this say? Most families, like we talked about, are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have $1,000 saved, so how are they going to have $5,000 for a medical emergency to pay their deductible, right? It's not going to happen. So as a result, and this is an interesting stat, 3/4 of medical debtors had health insurance. 3/4 of medical debtors had health insurance, but it's these high deductibles that are causing a big problem. Also, most medical debtors are well educated. They're homeowners. They're middle income, right? They're making good occupations, middle class America, medical debtors. So there's a problem, a big problem. Having health insurance is not preventing or causing a huge number of medical induced bankruptcies and large lumps of medical debt for all these families. That's not the solution. I think we've got to look at having a separate and a specific healthcare emergency fund in place that is designed specifically to help you accumulate the most amount of money in a small amount of time and requires the least out-of-pocket expense from you. Okay? That's the challenge, right? That so many of us are facing is medical expenses, and they're high cost. And how do we accumulate that money? How do we do it? How do we quickly get that emergency fund funded so you've got your deductible, right? You've got your $5,000, the average now nationwide, or you've got your $10,000. Now, the fastest way I found to grow your healthcare emergency fund and have zero risk of loss in the stock market is through this alternative HSA that I'm going to be talking to you about. This is the only thing I've found that allows you to quickly put a little bit of money in and rapidly grow it to a large sum. So here's an example. There's 11 different plans you can choose from, so it's affordable. Everybody can start out. The starting plan is $40 a month, and you just put your $40 a month into it. And after 35 months, if you've not touched the money, you'll have $2,500. But you can go all the way up then to a plan where you put in $725 a month, and after 35 months, if you've not touched any of your account yet, you'll have $60,000 available to pay for your out-of-pocket medical expenses. Okay, you pick a plan that's based on your savings cap, your savings target balance that you want to accumulate, but also it's got to be something that the monthly contribution, that money you're putting away, is affordable and that you can make that payment every month without fail, without it crimping your budget. I mean, this is not a scenario where you get the bill and it's like, oh, do I pay my, replace the tires on the car, or do I pay my health savings account? No, you got to make it affordable. Now, with this unique alternative to the HSA, the balance is on a Visa debit card, and so you can swipe it to pay for your prescription drugs, or swipe it at the dentist, or at the eye doctor, or at the hearing doctor, or at the chiropractor, or wherever it's going to be accepted, which is virtually any medically related expense. That's available on the card, and so you can use that and make those payments even before you reach your savings cap in the 35-month time frame. It just would delay how quickly you can reach that savings cap. That's all. But the money's there and you can use it. You're incentivized to not use it, though, in that first 35 months so that you can accumulate a larger sum of money in a less period of time. Now, the company that developed this, it's actually a patented financial product. They developed it with the idea of giving you the greatest amount of protection, okay, and accumulating your balance as quickly as possible. But so it is a savings account, but they treat it like it's an insurance policy so that there's actual reserves available to protect you and to protect that money. But it's not. It is a savings account, okay? And they worked with a leading healthcare actuarial firm in designing this program, and it's based on a large number of people and their frequency and amount of use, so that they can offer these benefits and help people accumulate a large sum of money in a small period of time. But it is a savings plan. It's not health insurance at all. It's a savings plan designed specifically to help you pay the out-of-pocket medical expenses that you are going to incur, right? It's not if, it's when. I mean, this is going to happen. Now, similar to an HSA, with this alternative plan, you can only spend the money for medical expenses, okay? However, with this alternative plan, there is no cash value, so you don't have an option of taking a penalty and paying taxes and going through that and getting a reduced amount of money to go on a vacation or on a spending spree. That is not an option. There is no cash value in this account. You must use the money for eligible medical expenses. And frankly, I'm fine with that. I think that's okay because I know I'm always going to have medical expenses. And especially as we age, we're going to incur even greater medical expenses with greater frequency. And so I know that that's going to happen. I just want to accumulate as much money as possible in the shortest amount of time so that I've got the cash to pay for it or pay those crazy deductibles now. Now, here's a few more benefits of this alternative HSA that I think you'll really appreciate. You get one account for your whole family. So if you're single, fine, you get your account. If you're married, for an additional $5 a month, she can or he can share in all of the savings that are there. You can both access the balance. And for an additional $5 a month, then you can add all your children so that the whole family can access the savings account balance, this healthcare emergency fund balance. You can all access it, okay? Just one account per family. Number 2 benefit, it does come with MD Live for free. So that is a telemedicine account that you and your family can use. So you can log on, do a video conference with a medical professional, get prescriptions, get basic medical treatment and attention done virtually. So that's pretty awesome. Number 3 benefit, it comes with a built-in prescription discount card as well. So it'll help you save money when you go to the pharmacy. And then number 4, since this is an alternative HSA account, the monies are available. You can use it to pay for your health insurance deductible. Well, if you've got money saved up, you can raise your deductible then and lower your cost of health insurance by up to 60%. So that could be a significant savings for you and a way to save even more money in the future. But the costs associated with decent healthcare in the United States are just outrageous now. And we've got to prepare. I want to encourage you to get ahead of this and start saving money as early as possible, because you just never know when you're going to have a healthcare emergency. And that's why I think it's so important. In another video, I'm going to do another one, and I want to share with you my personal story of my own healthcare emergency that I had a few years ago, and why I wish so badly that this option would have been available to me then. Spoiler alert, it would have saved me over $3,500 if I had this alternative account already set up and funded. So, like I said, healthcare costs are crazy and they just keep going up. And so I want to encourage you to get ahead of it, start saving money now, and get a large sum put together as soon as you can, okay? But whether you have health insurance or not, this HSA alternative is a great option for you. Like I said, if you have health insurance, you have a HSA, you can still get this alternative plan, keep the IRS out of it, and save a bunch of money up in a short period of time, because the medical expenses are going to come. And to learn more about this specific HSA alternative, I'm just going to encourage you to check the description box below. I'm going to put some notes and links in there, and you can go check it out. It's super easy to get started. You can go to the registration page, pick one of 11 plans. Like I said, the one that you'll get the benefit you think you really need, but make sure that you can always afford that monthly contribution that's going to be put away every month. You don't want to miss a payment, and build that up as quickly as possible. But those links will be down below. You can sign up in about 5 minutes. Like I said, everybody qualifies. There's no underwriting. There's no issue. Basically, you just need to put your name and address and birth date and a checking account number, so you can they can draft those payments once a month, and you can be set up. So if you appreciate this information and this alternative HSA, please click like and maybe drop a comment in the box below. I'd love to get this information out. I know it's going to be valuable and help a lot of people, and would appreciate your help with that. But financial freedom fighters, we're fighting for our financial freedom, right? This is one great tool that can help you do that. And appreciate your time today, and we'll talk to you again on another video real soon. Thanks.